Hi there. Thank you for your interest in my Spring Framework 5 course. Now, I titled this course Beginner to Guru because I wanted it to be a very comprehensive course. My name is John Thompson. I am the founder of Spring Framework Guru, and I picked the Guru name specifically to mean an expert. So I titled this course Beginner to Guru because I want to be able to take you from a beginner level to a guru level. And I've been using the Spring Framework for a very long time. Spring Framework 5 brings out a lot of exciting capabilities. So there's a ton of content in this course. And what I want to do in this course is take you from an absolute beginner, get your feet wet with the Spring Framework 5, and start building applications in it. And I'm going to show you how I've used the Spring Framework inside the enterprise for years. I've actually worked as a pivotal consultant, a Spring Source consultant for several of their clients, and even spoke at Spring One. So I've used the Spring Framework at a lot of different companies, everything from retail organizations such as Kohl's, Visa for financial services, Federal Home Loan Bank. So I've used it in a lot of different industries and a lot of different corporations, and I've seen it used with a lot of different technologies. And as you look into this course, you will see a lot of different technologies used. I'm going to show you best practices. We will dive in, and once we get to testing, I'm going to get you into some of the basics of testing, and from that point forward, we are going to follow test-driven development in the course because that is the best practice. We're also going to set up Circle CI to do continuous integration testing. That is another best practice. These are all common best practices that you're going to see for the Spring Framework in the enterprise. So my goal is to get you comfortable with the Spring Framework and to show you best practices of how companies are using the Spring Framework in the enterprise every day. So check out the course, and I hope you enroll because there's a lot of great content in this course. All right, in this video, I want to talk about how to get the most out of the Spring Framework 5 Beginner to Guru course. There's a lot of resources here, and not everybody utilizes everything properly, so there's a lot of tools in this course to help you become a true expert on the Spring Framework, and I want to explain those to you in this video. I am using GitHub for all the source code examples, so GitHub is a very popular source repository. I have over 23 separate GitHub repositories, and I'm going to be adding more to the course, so that number is actually going to grow. So there's a lot of repositories that you can use and utilize for resources in this course. Now, I'm finding that some people aren't that familiar with GitHub. I'm going to help you get started also. I've added an Appendix A with information. If you're brand new to GitHub, don't worry. Go to Appendix A, and we can get you started with GitHub, and you can start accessing these source code examples. Now, one thing that I'm using in the course are branches. Most of the sections of the course are going to have a starting branch, and this is going to be the state of the code at the beginning of the lesson. I'm also going to have an ending branch, so I'm going to code everything and then save the state of the code at the end of the lesson. Now, if you are familiar with Git or other source code control systems, you might be thinking this is an odd use of branches.
Are you like a crazy person?
But not totally crazy. There is a method to the craziness here. I did branches because it allows you to go through the course, and as you look at the branches, you can compare your current source code to the branch. And a lot of times, if you get an error, you might be missing an annotation somewhere on the course, and you might not fully understand what that error is. You can do a comparison to the branch inside of GitHub and see any differences between your code and my code, because my code is going to be working, or was at least working when I checked it in. And this is a way that you can see deltas, see if you forgot something, see if you missed a class or something like that. It's a great way for you to proceed in the course and really get you over any little speed bumps, because I know as you start learning new things, it's really easy to forget an annotation here and there. I do it all the time, but I've seen these errors 1,000 times, so it's kind of natural. It doesn't stumble me up, but you as a beginner, it's going to trip you up. So you have this tool and resource to go and use that. Through using branches, I can go in and update the source code. So as new releases of the Spring Framework come out, I do go in and update the releases. Typically, it's pretty good. It doesn't break anything, but sometimes there's minor breaking changes, and I do need to make updates to that. And I will call that out in a breaking changes. But it does keep us running on the current version of Spring Framework. If I were to use tags or commit IDs, I would not be able to go in and update these. Those are very static points in time. However, branches are long-lived, and I can go in and see that. And you also can look at that branch and see any commit activity I've had on that branch since I created it.
Are you like a crazy person?
So I consider it being a little crazy not to be using branches. Another recommendation you're going to see me make inside the course is to go in and do a fork. Now, a fork is like taking the repository to your own GitHub account. And if you don't have a GitHub account, don't worry, it's absolutely free. I recommend you to fork those to your own GitHub account. And as you follow along the course, you're going to build up a whole repository, or a bunch of repositories that you can show to future employers. So when you go to get a job as a Spring Framework developer, you can say, look at all the stuff I did in these courses on Udemy to show off my work. Now, also exclusive to this course is a Slack community. Inside the community, you can interact with me. I've got some teachers' assistants that help me answer student questions. They monitor the Slack community. And then there's also 2,000 other students from around the world. And you can get help in the course, or if you're working something cool with Spring, you can also ask questions about that. We do have a lot of great content, or a lot of great conversations in that community about stuff. So I'm going to focus on answering questions in the course, but there's a lot of great community contributions there. And right now we're at 2,000 people in there. It's rapidly growing. I think this is a really, really cool community. I'm really excited about the way it's turning out. And here's an example of the Slack channel, so you can see the people in there talking about it. You can see we're not quite to 2,000. I expect by the end of the week we will be there, because we do have new people signing up all the time into the Slack community. But you can see how people are talking and they're asking questions and interacting. So as you're learning the Spring Framework, this is a great resource for you to learn more about Spring and the Spring community as a whole. And if that didn't convince you to join the Slack channel, I also do Free Shirt Fridays. Every Friday, I give away a free Spring Framework Guru t-shirt. This is the same t-shirt that you see me wearing in the videos. I give away just one. I can't afford to give away all kinds of t-shirts, but I do give one away every Friday, and I've literally shipped t-shirts all over the world. I've sent them apparently to the U.S., India, Ukraine, Poland. Actually, I sent a lot to Poland. That's kind of surprising. Now, if you want to get that Slack community, in section 1, where this video is, later on a couple sections down, you will see instructions exactly how to join the Slack community. Next is a free 90-day trial for IntelliJ. Now, IntelliJ, I use that because it is the most popular IDE for Java development. It is widely used. It has overtaken Eclipse for popularity. It is not a requirement for this course. Now, all my source code examples are IDE agnostic. They will build with Maven or Gradle, depending on which repository you're in. So you can use those, and Eclipse does support both Maven and Gradle, but I do not personally use Eclipse anymore. I've been using IntelliJ for well over a decade, and that is my preferred IDE. And it's really, as you get into corporate environments, that is probably what you're going to see the most of. I know a lot of shops are still on Eclipse, but from what I'm seeing in the industry, the clients I'm working with, it's almost all IntelliJ now. I am able to offer a 90-day trial code for IntelliJ through my partnership with JetBrains. See section 1, a couple of lectures from this one. You'll see instructions on how to do that. You'll register for a code. You can go download IntelliJ Ultimate right now. You will get a free 30-day trial. After a few days of registration, this is still kind of a batch process on my side, I will get you a 90-day code. I recommend you try to take that 30 days, that first one, and then apply the 90-day code, which effectively will give you 120 days of IntelliJ Ultimate completely for free. And then a really nice resource in this course, I call it a Spring Boot Cookbook. There's, I think, about a dozen repositories in there looking at different examples, like using Rabbit or ActiveMQ in Spring Boot. These are just little source code examples to step you through using these different technologies to get you started quickly with these different technologies. So kind of a repository there of very commonly used technologies with Spring to help jumpstart you on that. So I do cover a lot in the course, but this does cover some stuff that I do not specifically cover in the course. And anybody joining the Slack community or taking advantage taking advantage of the 90-day free trial to IntelliJ Ultimate automatically gets enrolled in my Spring Framework Guru newsletter. This is a series of emails that you'll receive a few times a week. General stuff about Spring, the history of Spring, people like who Rod Johnson is and Josh Long and some of the Spring projects. I do have a very active blog with a lot of content on it. I'll reference blog posts there and give you some tales from the trenches from my experience being a developer out in the industry and some amusing tales like that. So a lot of good content there in the emails. And you don't have to join the Slack community or the 90-day trial for IntelliJ Ultimate. If you want the newsletter content, head over to my website and you can enroll right there. But there's a lot of really good content in that newsletter to get to your email box with general stuff about Spring and some amusing stuff in there as well. Now, just a quick summary here. I've given you a lot of good hints here. The number one thing is if you want to become a master at Spring is to complete this course. I highly recommend that you follow along with the source code examples. I did talk about using GitHub, branches, comparison, forks. I think it's a great idea for you to fork that repository to your own personal GitHub account so you have something to share with potential employers. The Slack community is a great resource. We've got over 2,000 we will soon have over 2,000 people in there where you can collaborate with other Spring Framework gurus from around the world. And I also have that 90-day free trial to IntelliJ Ultimate should you need it. So a lot of great resources here. There's a lot of great content in this course ahead of you. So I really hope you enjoy this course. And please rate the course. That does help me out. It does help others find the course. And if I did not earn that highest 5-star rating, please tell me why and what I can improve. I do get people that leave lower than 5-star ratings and with no feedback. So if there's no feedback, I don't know what I can improve and what you didn't like about the course and how I can make this course better. So I hope you found these tips valuable, because at the end of the day, I do want to see you find success in this course. I get contacted from students all the time telling me how this course helped them find a new job, and it's a terrific feeling. So I want to see you find success so I can be doing a little happy dance like this.